G'day, everybody. Welcome to another Mark Bishop show, where anything goes, where it is like a box of chocolates because you can get them all soft, hard, in between. And this chocolate, hey, on this show, he's a world renowned storyteller. But through his beautiful natural history photography. Got you there, didn't I? And to boot, he's from my hometown in Oz. And I'd like you to welcome Mr. Jason Edwards. Hi, Jason.
G'day, mate. How are you? Thanks for having
It's
me
good to have you on. I'm going to put the ducks down a little bit. They're driving me mad here. Here we go. Hey, well done, mate. You have won awards all over the world. I mean, I just want to share with you that you are a 2 times winner of the Eureka Prize for Science Photography, 4 times winner of the Communications Art Photography, annual 2 times winner of the Promax Golden Muse, the Pictures of the Year, Pictures of the Year International. You won that, and Travel Photographer of the Year. Well done, mate. You're a bit of a star.
Only on a good day, mate. Only on a good day.
Unbelievable. I'm going to show a couple of those awards now, because I think good on you. It's lovely to see somebody from home do so well. Where are you? Here you are. See those there? All of those. Plus, he was awarded the Australian Geographic Society and the Pursuit of Excellence Award. He started, look at the school shots when he was very young. That's when he started there. Here he is at the zoo. I think it was his first job. That's a snow leopard, by the way. And that's an anaconda. Ooh! When he was shooting in, look, it's 5. Just how far away were you? Like inches.
Yeah, well, the snake ended up on me, so it was.
Oh my God!
It was quite a curious anaconda. So
weren't you scared stiff, mate, or what?
No, it's look, all I ever do. It's all I've ever known, to be honest. So it's what are you going to do?
Something about we Aussies, mate, and between the other fella, God love him, and yourself.
Right.
That's what people say to me, Australia, I'm not going there. And I say, much as I'd love to. And I say, why not? And they say, oh, no, you get killed if you go there. You got all these deadly things crawling everywhere. I said, mate, they're in the bush. You know what I mean? They're in the bush. You don't disturb them. They're not going to disturb you.
No, that is true.
Unbelievable. Jason is the author, folks, of and photographer. This is why he's unique. It's a brand new book. It's called Icebergs to Iguanas. It gets you thinking, doesn't it? Icebergs, freezing bloody cold, right? To iguanas in the heat of somewhere. And the book cover and everything is going to be on my site, Mark Bishop Media. You're welcome to go and look at that. And you can have a good look because it's going to be around for a while. A large format series of books illustrating his National Geographic imagery. Now, he's also authored and photographed science education books for the children's market, and his imagery has appeared on everything from environmental campaigns to Hollywood blockbusters. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's interesting, my work, Mark, with National Geographic, because people always see the imagery or they come to National Geographic to try and delve into something that's a little bit unusual, and then they use them in a whole variety of ways. So it's amazing, Mark. One never knows where the imagery is going to be used. That's one of the wonders of National Geographic. So they represent the work that I create, and then companies and institutions come to them. And the work appears everywhere, like absolutely everywhere. And there's been times when I've been sitting in a cinema and then I've seen my imagery come up on screen. And then I think to myself, was I actually paid for that? Did someone just steal it?
Right.
I was in a Paul McCartney concert a couple of years back, and one of the songs he was playing, and the giant screens in the stadium had images that I had photographed of women in different parts of the world.
Right.
And I was sitting there going, wow, I recognize that shot and that shot and that shot. And so I called up National Geographic and said, hey, did Paul McCartney get a bunch of my images? They said, yeah, he loved your work. We dealt with his team directly. He chose them. I said, did I get paid well for that? And they said, no, we thought you'd be really excited about being on Paul McCartney's global tour. So we gave them a really good price. And I went, he's a billionaire. He can afford to pay full price.
My word, he can. Yeah, I know what it's like with all the free interviews I do, buddy. Believe me. But did he show on then with his pictures that it was your work, your name?
No, they didn't. That would
piss me right off. I got to be honest with you, right? Yeah, Come on. I don't mind if you're not going to pay me, but at least promote me.
Exactly, and it was a missed opportunity for National Geographic, I thought at the time, because normally my credit would be Jason Edwards, National Geographic, and then you're plugging Nat Geo. So
Exactly, you are.
I think
Never mind.
someone got a little bit excited about Sir Paul McCartney calling up as opposed to thinking logically about the outcome.
Well, the chance now is that you can talk about it in interviews like this. That's the only
That's
other
right.
way you can get it back. I mean, he's a nice fella. Years ago, when I was a jock, I interviewed the Beatles. I was fortunate enough to have them, and he's a lovely fella. And he probably had no idea. He said, "I just love those photos. Do what you got to do." And that
Yes.
might mean contact the guy, pay him, do whatever, but they didn't do it. Never mind. Listen, you're the author and photographer now. You're making your own big waves, icebergs to iguanas, right? A large format series of books. Now, when I say that, I visualize different books, right?
Hmm. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does it all work then?
So basically, what I did was my collection in the archives of National Geographic is the equal largest, not because I shoot a lot, because they don't take everything that we shoot. They take only a select number of frames. But I get around. I've been in 25 countries this year.
Oh.
So they will take a selection from the stories that I do and archive those. And every time I would come to Washington, which is where headquarters is, Nat Geo would say, "Where's the book?" And I'd say, "Where's the money?" They'd say, "Where's the book? Where's the money?" So eventually I thought I'll drive the exercise myself. I sat down with a bottle of red one day and made a list of stories that meant something to me personally.
Right.
Some of them went for 2 weeks, some are 30 years ongoing. And then I built a team, some of the people connected with Geographic. And then we started producing this book, and we decided to go down the storytelling path as opposed to, I guess, the 300 favorites, because how would you do that after 35 years on the road? And what we
It'd
did
take
was
you 30 years to figure them out.
well, 100%, and a lot more red.
Right.
And so basically we ended up picking with the team and the editors and everything the first series of stories. And they got very excited and said, "Oh my God, we should also be doing these stories together and these stories." So providing this one goes well, get out and buy the book, then we'll continue on with a rainbow serpent of travel around the continents, looking at those stories from my 35 years on the road.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Now, when they do all of that, National Geographic, I hope they pay something to you.
Well, at the moment, it's interesting because we're in a transition, of course, because Geographic's part of the Disney Corporation now. So they're at the moment they're redoing all the stores throughout the US and everything. So it's gone into bookstores, Barnes and Noble, Amazon, all your favorite bookstores. It's gone in there independent because their portals aren't open at the moment. So if you jump online or go to a bookstore, then you'll see it because Nat Geo stores actually aren't open at the moment.
Jason, are you having your own site where people can buy directly off the site?
100%. So people can also get it at jasonedwards.co. So just my name with .co for company. Yep.
Okay. jasonedwards.co.
So you just need to make sure when you put in .co that the internet doesn't default to .com.
If I whack this up, mate, they can actually make sure they get the spelling right as well.
For sure.
But
there's an order page there as well. And if people get it through the website, the shipping has to come for Australia, but I'll dedicate or sign it for you if that's of interest.
Oh, lovely. There you go, right? jasonedwards.co, C-O, not .com or .net or .ai. .go, that's the one. And by the way, I never do this much, but folks, you can contact me and email me. I'm trying to build the channel. I'm trying to get really good, interesting people to interview. It's like a box of chocolates. You know that. I steal that old cliche because it's true. And that's the reality. And we've had some very interesting people on. The last one spiked. It went up to 11,000 views. But I got a long way to go because it's tough here, Jason, to get sponsorship. Welcome to America,
Yes. Yeah.
Particularly when you're just a little Aussie battler, you know what I mean?
That's right.
But they've told me if I can, I got to get up to 200,000 views before I can get a national sponsor, So
yes, yeah.
So
you'll get there, mate.
I hope so. One day, you never know. Now, I want to talk about your storytelling in dozens of countries. I mean, you're a married man, you've got children, 25 countries, I think you mentioned.
Just this year.
You must be away 11 months of the year, mate.
Yeah, mate, it's interesting. What I try and do is when Will, my son, was born, Geographic kept me home, they actually wanted me to be an in-place father because it's so common that dads don't see their kids in this role.
Very nice of them.
So
Well done, National Geographic.
yeah, very much so. And so Megs, my wife, and I took the first couple of years off. She went back to work, and I basically hung around for the following years, just working on the edits for the stories that I'd been doing for Geographic.
Right.
And then as he got older, I slowly built it back up. And for the most part, I mean, I had what most dads don't have. You know, I had the ability to stay home during all of those 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But the reality is that what I try and do is make sure that I'm always home for school holidays. And then we do several trips together every year.
Right.
And then, so Will and Megs have been on the road. Will's been on the road since he was 6 months of age doing Nat Geo trips, which is amazing.
Do you take him on your jobs? I mean, you know, for him to experience it's like Steve Irwin and his boy, remember?
Yeah, 100%. So Will and Megs have been to Antarctica and New Guinea and
wow, what an education for the child. Mate, best education he can get, never mind 100%. Melbourne grammar.
Yeah, that's right.
It's travel, man, travel, right?
Travel's the thing.
Particularly with what you do, I'll give you that. I mean, you've been at the forefront of natural history photography for more than 3 decades now, and your image portfolio ranks, among the largest of any photographer in the Society's long history. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, you've appeared in hundreds of publications, not just National Geographic magazine, but BBC Wildlife, Australian Geographic, Sports Illustrated, Condé Nast Traveller, and The New Yorker.
Yeah.
Credit where it's due, my friend. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Cheers. And that's the thing too with that. Sometimes you don't even realize the work is out there until people come to you and say, "Oh my God, we were here." And with with some of the TV work I do for National Geographic, I was in Madagascar once, and I hear this French lady yell out, "Oh my God, that's Jason Edwards!" And this couple of girls ran out of the jungle. And I'm sitting there photographing this lemur in Madagascar. And my team that was with me went, "That must make you feel pretty good." And I sort of went, "Well, it's nice to know the work's getting out there." So,
And she was, again, French, did you say?
She was French, and that always works well.
So there you go, man. Not just Aussies, all over the world.
No, that's right.
And you're not even a major, Bond superstar or anything when it comes to movies.
Right. Well, it's hard to replace Daniel Craig, but I'd give it a crack.
Well, you're based in my hometown, Melbourne, right? In Australia. So, folks, that's called a Mexican down south. You know what I mean? But look at the map of Australia, all right? Then you've got New South Wales, and then you've got Queensland. They're banana vendors.
Correct. Exactly.
I tell you what, I miss the old Melbourne, mate. I'm a Tiger supporter. I was there for, I've been back in the States 12 years now in Arizona. But I miss the MCG and Young and Jackson's on the corner and the railway station. Lots of Melbourne and the green trees. And we have beautiful weather here in Tucson. Don't get me wrong. But, man, I'm football, meat pies, kangaroos, and holding cars.
That's exactly right, mate. You've got a voice for radio, mate. I'll tell you.
Thanks very much. I appreciate that.
It's interesting, Mark, is that I live in Carlton, so I'm not a Blues supporter. I'm a
Bombers supporter. I watched all the finals. I get Apple TV here in the States, purely to watch all the footy every night with my wife. Thank God she likes Aussie rules football. I was at that game where they bump it. No. They stand on a guy's shoulder and they take a mark. That's Australian rules football. That's exactly right. It's funny. It's called football. They kick the thing.
That's right. Without the padding.
Have you ever taken your boy to an American game here at Gridiron?
No, we've not had that opportunity. And,
baseball, maybe baseball?
No, Will, the interesting thing with Will and I is that Will was here doing NASA for a few weeks with school last year, and we weren't here at the same time. We overlapped. So we've never actually, even though he's been here and I've been here many times, we've been up rivers with headhunters in New Guinea, but we've never been in the States together. So, but it's interesting though what you say about Melbourne, mate, because as you know, it's a very livable city, and living in Carlton, for those listening, both Richmond and Carlton that we're talking about, or Carlton North technically for me, these are very inner city suburbs surrounded by restaurants and parks and everything. So when you live there, you don't need to go anywhere else because everything is where you are. So I might
Yep.
do 1,000,000 kilometers in a year, but when I get home, it's all walking.
It's amazing. And I share that with people because very cosmopolitan, immigrants everywhere. At the end of the day, with what's going on in the States at the moment, but everybody is settled in, works together, and so on. Otherwise, you're out. It's
That's
that
right,
simple.
yeah.
Behave yourself or you're out.
Yeah, we don't
And
have that.
they're
We don't
pretty
have
fair.
that tolerance that
No,
for,
you know, it's
for
unbelievable.
for
But Carlton, where he's from, this fella, famous guy, they're all the Italian restaurants in the suburbs of
right.
Carlton. So if you felt like Italian, off you go to Carlton. Now you
That's
come
exactly.
over here to Fitzroy, and now we've got a Vietnamese
Yep.
and some of the other beautiful countries of the world and their food, the ones you never
Mm.
get fat on. You know what I mean?
I know. Well, I have an issue with carbs, Mark. You know, it's like I train every day, but I do love the pasta in Carlton. There is no two ways about it, and so much so, mate. I'm on the road so much, you know, that I have what we call a bump in meal, and so
Oh,
when I get back to feel like I'm back home, I'll go and I'll do something that's either traditionally probably a meat pie or something bad, you know, bad and junky like that. But there's a restaurant in Lygon Street in Carlton called Tiamo's, and they do a fantastic spaghetti amatriciana. They've been there about 70 years. And so
yeah, I think
I'll
I
go
know it.
there, I'll have
Yeah.
some Prosecco, some bread, and then I'll walk across to the Nova and watch a movie. And that
Yeah.
4 hours of my life is my bump back in, and then I'm back on game.
Well, mate, I miss my veal parmigianas, right?
There you go.
Beautifully done with that meat sauce. Only you can get it in Australia. Now, I've
Correct.
tried here in Arizona, maybe back east in the States, maybe somewhere else, right? But I cannot get a beautiful veal parmigiana. It's impossible. They don't know how to make one, mate. But
No,
never
no, I've
mind.
struggled too.
Or they don't know how to make what's the other one? A salad. What's it called?
The
Oh, never mind.
caprese, or
It'll come to me.
but no, you're thinking of
You know, there's no egg in it. There's no.
yeah, I know, yeah, that's
You
right.
know the one I mean.
I know the one
Uh,
you're talking about.
Interesting, yeah. And I'm trying to put a show together called Expat Chit Chat
Yeah.
because I would love to interview Australians in America, how they're working, where they're working, what they're doing. Are they going to the baseball, football? What are they eating? Do they miss their meat pies and sausage rolls and
Yeah.
stuff like that? Because that's, there's a guy, he brings it in because actually, I'm getting old. I got a mental block with names lately, but there's a fellow in LA who's an Australian who has a terrific business. He makes meat pies, sausage rolls, lamingtons, you name it.
Wow.
But what he does is feed the homeless there in the streets once a year in LA, and they're lined up to the airport. You know,
Wow.
it's absolutely, and they love the food. Speaking of which, I mean, you've been recognized globally for your contributions to science and the environment and the arts. Well done. But you do say, for me, photography is more than just capturing beautiful pictures. It's about telling a story. Icebergs to Iguanas is a collection of your nationally treasured geographic images and memories, enlightened with behind-the-scenes stories, fascinating captions, and personal observations erected from your field journals. Give us an example. When you talk like that, you just don't take the pick, or maybe 50 of them to get the right one. What do you do next? Where does it go from there?
So that's a fantastic question. So for me, one of the things is that I often work alone. Sometimes I'm with teams, but I find what I do is quite a privilege, and people just don't get the opportunities that I have. So when I'm in the field, whether I'm doing a rare culture, an endangered species, or just somewhere beautiful like the Serengeti, I'm so immersed in that moment, whether I have 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 weeks to try and get the story I want. I'm very, very, very aware that work has to come back to an audience I will never meet, to people, to school children, to adults, you know, to people who are midlife or elderly. And that image, or those words that I create with that image, have to connect that person to that moment, because people value things. You know, you don't create a connection, people don't value other cultures or faiths or wildlife or ecosystems. So I try and do that. And the book has, Icebergs has, I've kept field journals for 30 years. So there's actual journal entries. When you see the journal entries or the captions, sometimes the captions are even journal entries where we've pulled the date from them. But when you see those dates and that behind the scenes, that's literally from my field journals, because that's how I connect with myself, especially when I'm alone. I have no one to share it with, so I use the journal.
Right. Well, maybe you can turn that into some sort of video later.
Yeah, well, potentially. It was quite cathartic going back through, looking through the archives without at that point the intention of doing multiple books, and looking at the imagery and seeing that change in style and perception that I had. And you would know in your career, the way you see things when you're 20 is not how you see them when you're 30 or 40.
Oh,
and
boy.
and not only did the words in my journals change, but how I saw the story change.
Right.
Sometimes how I photographed change as I matured, and so that was when I read some of the things. I said to my wife Megan, I said, "Wow, if you read this out of context, it would sound really bad, but the context is maybe I've been embedded in some industrial town doing shipbreaking for 2 years.
Yes.
And I'm sick to death of people robbing me blind, sick to death of, because I'm white, I'm paying 20 times what I should be paying, even though I'm experienced in the field.
Right.
And it's hard to watch people injured and dying and doing all these terrible things, whilst I really have to be objective. So you read the journal entry and you think, wow, that sounds not all that positive. But again, that the life experience of being alone in those environments.
Yeah.
I've done stories on HIV in children in Uganda when the pandemic was there for HIV.
Oh, that'd be heartbreaking, right?
They're tough subjects. So the journal becomes the portal through which I communicate to myself and detox. But if someone was to read it without looking at the images or taking it from a humanistic perspective, they might think that, wow, that sounds a bit odd, but you have to look at it in the holistic. And that's the nice thing about the book. It was written from the first person, so it gave me an opportunity to reflect on some of these things.
Well, there you go. And now you've already mentioned that one can buy the book Icebergs to Iguanas off your own site. Now, also, no doubt it's going to be on Amazon or in Amazon.
Yep, it's on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and a lot of the really high-end independent bookstores as well. So
good.
So if you're not in your bookstore, just get them to do an order.
Do you want to mention them at all? Do you know them?
It's quite a long list, but
sorry, I'm just being.
No. I'd love to, but I don't want to. I'm more concerned about leaving someone out that would think that I didn't value them.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. But don't worry.
Barnes and Noble online, and then if it's not in your local bookstore, just definitely.
This actually sounds, to be honest with you, it sounds like it'd make a lovely gift.
Yeah, it's wonderful. If you like, you can do bicep curls with them. They're pretty heavy.
Folks, boys, girls, grandmas and granddads watching this interview, Christmas is coming up, is it not? And then, of course, there's the Jewish holidays as well. And then, of course, there's the other holidays. So, by the way, is this going to be into different languages?
At the moment, we're starting out with English for the US and English market. But if it depends on what happens moving forward, yes.
Right,
English
right.
For the time
because
being.
I think it'd go really well, overseas in different languages. Anything else you want to promote while you're here?
I don't know. Life's an adventure, I guess. It's one of those things that I was one of those people that was very fortunate as a young buck to know what he wanted to do for a career, and then I managed to forge that career. A lot of people don't have that. So I've been very fortunate, and there's ups and downs. I mean, my body has been a cesspool of disease and injury.
I was going to say, man, in all these different countries, you open yourself right up, don't you?
Flaps of my head stitched back on and bones punched out and arms reattached, and let alone the diseases I've had. But again, it's I regard myself as blessed for having those opportunities. If you're into seeing behind the curtain of what someone like myself does for Geographic, or if you're into storytelling, and you want to sort of give some thought of, if you've got someone who is into photography, then you can get a bit of an insight. Be very afraid into my brain. So, but as the year closes out, and again, as we discussed, I've been in 25 countries already this year. I'd like to just wish everyone the best for the upcoming festive season, and be kind to one another. There's a lot going on in the world at the moment, but the world's
mate, there is. And of course, as I'm interviewing,
the world's a wonderful place.
Well, it is. The globe is beautiful. I've been seeing a little bit of it. Last year, I was fortunate enough to go to Ireland. I'd always wanted to do that with the. I took the Minister for War and Finance. The viewers are saying, "What the hell's he talking about?" That's the missus, the
That's
Minister
the
for War
missus,
and Fun.
that's
You know,
right.
well, make it easy for you. She's the cheese and kisses.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's another Aussie little play around.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's right. More
where's the
slang than
cheese
any
and
other
kisses,
country.
mate? Isn't she coming? Ah, we had a blue. Oh, all right. Yeah, Megan, right?
Megan, yeah, Megs,
That's the your cheese and kisses, the Megan.
It is, yes.
What does she do then? What's her career?
So she works in the corporate sector. She has a role where she liaises between a British corporation and Amazon, actually. And so
Right.
she's in that kind of role that has a lot of pressure and lots of numbers.
Right.
And it's funny because if we ever have to go to a bank, you know, the bank says, Jace, we love you saving the planet, we love what you do, we think you're amazing, you make us look good, but we love her more because we understand her. She turns up every day to work, doesn't disappear for months on end, and she doesn't have green things crawling out of the side of her face. So
Oh my God! So there you go, eh?
she's an
Unbelievable.
amazing lady, and we make it work. And as I said, you know, it's one of those things people are probably wondering. It's one of those things when I come home, it's 150,000% family, and it's food and wine and entertainment and
Oh
together
yeah,
time. But then I go and she gets the bed back to herself, and she loves that. So
oh right, and then you set the private detectives on her to make sure she's being a good girl, huh?
well, mate, I've got to be honest with you, Mark. You know, my son's about 6'2". He looks like a Norwegian god, and I'm
Eyes
pretty
are
sure
blue.
there's a fireman at the local station that looks exactly like him, and that's how
Oh
running the
boy,
business
sounds like a great centre half forward. Get the Tigers to
He's got
recruit
it
him.
happening. He's got it happening.
Unbelievable. I'm sitting here watching this year. My heart's in my mouth.
Mm.
This poor new coach has come in, right? He used to play with Melbourne, Uze. Yeah,
Uze,
reminds
yeah.
me of the drink, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway, supposedly a good coach. Okay.
Yeah, he's
The
doing
poor
it.
devil comes in and he loses 6 of our stars straight off the bat with retirement. And they were all in the premiership sides of the last 3 premierships.
Correct.
And it took 30 years to get that. Now, God knows how long.
Yeah.
At least I got my mom to one of them, God love her. But the point is, before she passed at 58 with cancer, but the point is now he can only get recruits, bunch of kids, and he's got to start building the whole club again from scratch. So it'll be interesting. And I don't mind somebody else winning with Collingwood. You know what I mean?
Anything but Collingwood, mate.
Anything but Collingwood.
I know. My office is in Collingwood, and I go there every day just going, what will I see today?
Yeah. Well, the Blues have got just as bad. I mean, your followers are fanatics now, I tell you.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Oh dear. Jason Edwards, ladies and gentlemen. I look, he's an extreme talent. A lovely guy, and actually he's an Aussie, you know what I mean? Americans love Australians. When they visit Australia, we tend to treat them like gods, and welcome them in our homes and everything else, and we've had a great rapport. I always remind people too, Jason, that we've lost plenty of blood on every bit of sand, and every war you've been in, we've been there with you,
100%.
And every time I talk to other military guys, I say, hey, I fought with the Aussies, they were terrific. Don't you worry about
we've
that.
We've got a close relationship.
Oh, big time, yeah. And I hope it stays that way, to be honest with you. Who's in over there now? I haven't watched for a while. Is it Labor or Liberals?
Labor, Albanese, but they may get rolled next year.
Oh, mate, aren't you broke yet?
Yeah, well, we are. Victoria is, but let's not go there. I'll need more wine. More wine.
Dear. You need more wine. You mentioned that before. You like red. What's your favourite?
Well, actually, I used to be able to delve deeply into Coonawarras, the big heavy reds out of the South Australia, but
beautiful wines.
I'm a bit old now, mate. They hurt me too much now, so I'm basically I'm mainly into Pinots now, but I drink a lot of white, and living in Carlton, obviously, there's a lot of international whites there. So
yeah, but you got to have red with the old Italian food.
No, I do.
That's
I
a
do.
fallacy.
I'm just trying to be diplomatic.
Yeah, I know. It's only white with the fish, my friend, and the salmon.
That's
la-di-das,
Anyway, there's a lot of gin in Melbourne these days too. I can tell you that for now.
Yeah. Are they attractive? An in-house joke, right? I'm not racist.
That's exactly right.
Where am I? We're saying goodbye. Okay, it's been a pleasure. I've had a ball, mate. You're the first Aussie I've interviewed, and it's been a lot of fun. But congrats to what you're doing. I hope the book sells 1 million. You're in a lot of good causes as well. I know you donate, and the the more it sells, the better. But it's a beautiful gift. I see it as a gift for someone to buy who may not even be into, Natural Geographic and all that sort of thing, but their children could be. And you'd be surprised who would, when you see the stuff in these books. I'm telling you. Alrighty, and it's called again Icebergs to Iguanas. Iguana, they're a beautiful. Have you held one and everything? Yeah,
I have. Yeah. There's many species, and they're like mini dinosaurs.
Oh, there are, right.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting ones. But,
okay.
And Mark, thank you, mate.
You don't have one as a pet or anything, do you?
No, I don't. No. It's But mate, thank you for having me, because I've been pushing pretty hard the last few months. So it's Aussie accents have been few and far between for me. So it's been good
it's good, mate. You've made my month. It's been good. I best all the very, very best, mate. Okay.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
All right, you got it.